very fun game. So thank you to Luis. But yeah, the synopsis for this one looked really neat. Let me pull up what you sent me. 'Cause it was
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna search my emails because I misplaced everything. So this was a puzzle game about time travel and paradoxes, where you must learn to choreograph past, present, and future. That just like that alone just sounded really, really, really neat. And this is controls. Let me grab that out.
Awesome.
But
Are you mentally prepared for me to throw him into the call?
uh,
Or do you need a minute to load everything up first?
I just need to switch the games over. I prepared last night. I had everything ready and loaded, and everything's installed. And it's professionalism. It's what we do. Let me let me pull this over here. And then yeah, I'm good at any point for that though.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah. For anybody who's watching from the front page, if you want to come on in, we are doing a giveaway. You just have to type exclamation mark thanks devs, and you get a chance to win Dead Synchronicity, which is the game we just played. So there, business, business. I'm done. Uh, there we go. Yeah, can you tell that I don't do super shows every single day? I'm super not like I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let me make sure I'm dragging the right person over here. I have like lists and lists of everything. This is Brian. He should be
Yes.
coming in any moment.
I couldn't figure out which Brian was Brian, so I didn't get to add him. So I didn't get to have like everybody else I've had like a small conversation with beforehand.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello. Good, good. Welcome to the Super Show.
Thank you for having me on here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I love your game. I got to play it thanks to the Super Show. It's one of the reasons I do this. I get to play games as a busy dev. I love so much about this. I have tons of questions, but I'm gonna be quiet and see what Elegy comes up with first.
Feel free to if you want to like give me a slight reprieve this hour, I would not. No, no. Feel free to jump in and ask as much as you need. It's not a problem. Because there are plenty that I wouldn't think of. I'm sure. I gotta plug this in real quick. That was that.
I'm actually curious what you've done in the past, what your experience is previously to this game, because it's so refined and polished that I feel like there's no way it's your first game.
So it's my first game as an indie dev. So like my dark backstory is making Facebook games. So I used to work for EA Studio making Facebook games. So I worked on like a Facebook kind of FIFA trading card game and a Facebook adaptation of The Sims. And I kind of got a bit bored of what I was working on there. So then I decided like I'll escape and make something I want to make.
Has that been successful for you?
Well, we'll see when it comes out. I mean, I'm very happy with how the game's going so far, so I have to see kind of how it does on release.
What I was setting up last night, so I gave myself like about 5 minutes with every game to just get like familiar with how I would need to sit down and play it, and I actually could only give your game a minute, and I mean that as a compliment. The reason why is if I had spent any longer, I probably would have just played all that was there. Like right off the bat, everything felt really nice, and I was really curious to see how things would kind of grow. So it was very simple at first, and I liked the tiering. I did the first couple of levels, and it's like this seems intriguing, and I want to see it become more complex as the later levels I'm sure will become. And so I was just like, I need to put this down now because
yeah,
I mean,
as far as possible, I'm trying to kind of let people kind of figure stuff out for themselves with the game. So I'm trying to kind of not hold your hand at all, not tell you what to do at all, but like just let the game teach you through your playing.
Yes, and like that is, for lack of better phrase, that's just a huge gaming turn on for me. Just because I
like that phrase.
What's that?
I like that phrase.
It's a good phrase. It's just because I've been gaming my whole life, so I frequently cite like Ego Raptor. He talks about in Mega Man X just how the game like teaches you through gameplay rather than throwing constant tutorials at you. So anytime a game does that, it just immediately I'm just like, I like this. This is cool. This is nice. It's not insulting to a player. It's really embracing and inviting. And so like that was the immediate vibe is like the things that I need to interact with make sense right off the bat, and I'm not lost and I'm not confused, and I get to figure it out, and like you get that sense of pride while you play. It's like, yeah, I did it. All right. So uh, same as before. I don't know if you want to give us like a brief like synopsis of what we're going to be doing in Induction and what like what it is that you've created for us here.
So Induction is my abstract puzzle game about time travel and paradoxes. You control a cube wandering around this abstract isometric world, and you get to jump back in time and cooperate with your past self. And it starts off fairly simply. You just basically just have to cooperate with your past self. So it might be you hold down a switch to open a bridge, and then you jump back in time, and then you cross the bridge while your past self is holding down the switch. And then from there, it kind of gets weirder. You kind of have to do stuff like edit what happened originally somehow, or somehow sabotage a past version of yourself. So it kind of all gets like a lot trickier and involves like a lot of time travel, general weirdness.
Sabotage a past version of yourself. I know we just met. I might be in love with you. That sounds absolutely amazing. So one thing that did confuse me while I was immediately there is what is this play button that's right here on?
Oh yeah, everyone's confused about it. It's meant to be like just press the right button on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. It strikes me.
Press the right arrow key. Yeah.
Okay.
But literally everyone has thought it's a play button.
I've been like, I was trying to click it. I was like, I pressed the play button on my keyboard because I got one of those nice keyboards with the play button. Then I listened to music for a little bit, and then so it was just
it's just like a badly drawn right arrow.
Fair enough. Okay, so that makes sense. So I'm guessing like the goal in every single level is to reach the square. That's what it was in the first couple of levels I played. So it definitely starts off very simply. Is there like a quick reset for a level if you end up like screwing up somehow? Like I didn't actually try seeing if I could.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. See, I didn't screw up this level, so it didn't tell me about the Z key. I like that the music kind of takes like a. This is the remix. It's the okay. So you got a rewind key just straight up. Because if you do this like the right way straight off the bat, it doesn't tell you about that Z thing. Okay, that's neat. I like that. Uh oh. Give me that. There we go.
Oh, and you can hold it down rather than just tapping it.
Oh, that's nicer. Okay. The tapping it gave it kind of like this I don't know turntable effect, just kind of wicka wicka. I'll be honest, and that's why I was actually okay with Kitty asking any questions that she might have, because I'm not gonna be the best for questions in this one. I'm just gonna play it. That's all I want to do. I'll be honest. I'm bad with puzzles. I just play the game. So you got sabotaging your past self. I can't wait to actually like start seeing some of the. Oh, not cool enough to drop it in one go. Any other like what other kind of because you said past, present, and future. So like you set stuff up for yourself, you screw yourself up behind you. What inspired all of this? Like what time travel as an idea and creating all this just and paradoxes and everything. That's very. Oh, hello.
So a lot of it's come from movies about time travel, so like Primer or The Terminator, and kind of one of the specific inspirations behind this was I was having an argument with a friend about time travel in Terminator 2. So there's this plot point where like someone gets sent back in time, but then it turns out he's the father, he becomes the father of the guy who sends him back in time. So you kind of get this kind of very strange loop of cause and effect that you couldn't get without time travel. And I was having this argument, like, is this an okay thing or not? Because it seems like that loop shouldn't have even been able to get started in the first place. And so I kind of wanted to make a game about building those kinds of loops. So this is like another thing that comes into it about kind of having these kind of interdependent time loops, and you're building those up. And I kind of want the experience, you could say, kind of like head scratching experience that you kind of get from kind of watching any kind of time travel movie that goes into the complexities of time travel.
That's really cool. Just like, because the second you said, like, obviously, whoa. I like that this is changing colors as I use the time travel too. That's like, it's a very interesting idea.
Yeah, it took me a while to get settled on doing it like that. It started off originally like the entire geometry of a level would fall down, and then you'd see like another version of the level slide in on top. So it was like the different timelines were stacked one on top of each other. And I was trying for ages and ages to get that to work, and then just sort of by accident I stumbled across. I like tried very quickly having different colored timelines. Like, oh, that actually works far better than what I'd had in mind.
Oh wow! All right, what does X do? Oh, does that fast forward?
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then I'm guessing R is my restart. I don't want to press it.
Yeah.
I reached the end. I don't want to press it. All right. Yeah. As soon as you said paradoxes, like I that entire concept, because I'm a big Doctor Who fan too. So like I just the fact that it comes up in that at times, and just dealing with the way time works in general, I like that as an idea, and that you actually are like designing puzzles around that it's neat. It's simple too. It's not like this isn't like hurting my head to think about, like, oh, if I went back in time and I did this, and it's like, oh, I've gone cross-eyed kind of thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, with some of the later puzzles, it gets to that you can get to the end quite easily, but getting to the end without causing any paradoxes is the challenge. And like the exit won't be open for you until you've sort of resolved all paradoxes of the levels. So there might be a puzzle where, say, you have to steal something from your past self, but then you have to kind of give it back something in its place, so you're kind of not kind of messing things up for your past self too much.
Right. So I'm noticing while I'm doing some of this stuff that like the past ones that I'm making also jump forward in time, and so like they're getting a different or changing, not jumping. I mean, they're changing their own time frame. Is there a limit when you set something there? It's not, or is it just like happening because I've like solved the mechanic that's going on there?
So it's basically just your past self doing what you did. So where you press space, like your past self will kind of just repeat doing what you did. So you jump back in time, and then your past self will jump back in time. So kind of in theory, there's like an infinite stack of timelines there. So it's like your past self jumps back in time, and then that timeline, there's another version of yourself that also jumps back in time, and then in that timeline, there's another version of yourself that also jumps back in time.
All right, so this is my first like real. This is the first like real puzzle here. All right, so I need to be able to set that in cross. But then I also need to take it off. And then I need to put it back on. No. That might be too much. Whatever, let's see what happens. Go, 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 go! You little dice. All right, so yeah, giving your like timing out your movements to make sure everything makes sense. That's okay. That's neat. That's neat. Oh, and then so the square to leave the level doesn't appear until your time loop has been resolved too. That's really neat.
Basically, yeah. Because you need to kind of make sure like nothing happens to your past self along the way, because then otherwise you do have a paradox.
That's clever. That is very clever. Oh, that's cool too. Okay. That's super neat. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna be lost in wonder. This is fantastic.
I am curious, actually, just watching this, like from a level design standpoint. Did you have any trouble trying to make it so that it really eased people into the gameplay? Because I know oftentimes with puzzle games, you get so good at the game yourself that it's hard to see clearly.
The introductory puzzles to where they are now. So it started off so much harder than this. Originally, so it starts off now, you get one jump through time. It started off originally like I was like giving you like as many jumps through time as you wanted kind of right off the bat. And that just like massively confused people. So then I kind of, it was kind of ahead of one event, I'd kind of had, like someone had like given this other designer to show me a game to, who gave me this like incredibly stern talking to, like, no, you need to make your game like 100 times easier. And they put together this set of levels thinking like, this won't be fun at all, because it's like, it's just ridiculous, it's too easy. But then this was the first version that anyone actually kind of like responded well to. I was like, oh, okay, this is about where I need to start off with difficulty. And then it's just been refining it from there, really. I mean, a lot of the time it's been a case of kind of watching of kind of watching people play the level and then seeing them get stuck perhaps where I didn't expect them to get stuck, and then actually kind of pulling out the difficulty they're having into like another puzzle that introduces that concept first. So I kind of see the different things people are getting stuck on, and then kind of pulling out like the different bits into their own puzzle.
Interesting, so kind of like anticipating it before it happens, like that.
Yeah. And that's actually like been a good source of puzzles for the game in general, kind of watching people's solutions, and if they're trying something that kind of isn't the right solution but is still kind of interesting, then kind of building a puzzle where that is the right solution.
Interesting. Right, because they go off in the wrong direction and then it turns into the right direction for a future puzzle.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to like come up with somewhat creative solutions sometimes for like some more difficult puzzles. This is another thing I really like. I guess it like stores. Yeah, it stores like the when you solve it, it actually like stores what it is that you did. That's really cool. So you get like these little replays.
If you hold down X on this screen, you should like get a fast replay, I think. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then you can kind of see this idea that there's like an infinity of timelines because it just kind of keeps looping around.
That's cool. That is super neat. All right. Oh geez. What? Oh. No. What? Goodbye. I don't see I don't see. All right, so I'm guessing there's no real way to like rotate these planes. They are meant to be like isometric view.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Is this? No. There's no way. That would be silly. Can I climb up this? Huh. Can I climb up myself? Oh, go fast. I get it. Don't touch it. Damn it. All right, start over. All right, I understand. I get it now. That's
So this has kind of been one of the most satisfying things for me, is kind of watching the moments when the penny drops for how to get something.
Like it's very validating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I do like the spectrum of emotions that are happening to Elegy. It's very fun.
This is.
I mean, it's been amazing. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. This particular clever things just make me the giddiest person in the world, and this specific puzzle is ridiculously clever, and just like being clever enough to like go, oh, that's what I do, like that. Ah! There we go. Okay. Oh God, but I can't control anything because I'm the worst. It's okay. We Z back. Z. Is it okay? No. Stop.
I mean, what's been kind of incredibly fun for me is like watching people play this at events and watching them get incredibly angry at the game, but still refusing to walk away.
I can see that. Oh, what the? All right. That is a very peculiar problem. All right, stay there for a second, me. Thank you. You can disappear now. This is really like using yourself as a stepping stone and like moving yourself around. Oh my goodness. Oh, but you only get one. Oh, okay. So that makes it all right. So we'll start over because I need to time that better. That's just ridiculously cool. All right, that should do. Uh-oh. Back.
So,
I like that you can like go back a couple steps at a time too. That's definitely helpful for I guess my only thing is I guess my only thing is no, don't push it. Is the controls are not like inherent. They're not native to me. I'm pushing the wrong direction for the isometrics.
It's kind of a fundamental problem of isometric games that I've not really solved. It's the kind of thing you just have to get used to.
Yeah, which ways? Because I keep pressing like right to try to go. Up.
I mean, you can.
Oh. Uh-oh.
If you want to.
You can. I'm sorry. You can what?
You can change it so it goes the other way, so kind of it's up and down for like the different directions rather than left and right.
Right. Okay. All right. So then now we gotta go around like that. There we go, and then we should be good. Go 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 go. I kind of just sat there and listened to you. So there's just this really long delay. There we go. All right. So then you'll move me. No, wait. I screwed that up. I need to push it out. Wait. Go back. Okay. Off. There we go. No. Off. Fast forward. Off. And whoop. There we go. I like that there's not like a time cop thing here. You can actually touch yourself.
Yeah.
That would just be whoa. So what's with the branching paths here? Like what's the particular?
So originally it was just like a linear string of levels you were going through, because I kind of wanted to keep kind of quite close control of what concepts you'd been introduced to. But then it's like I did want to have some limited amount of branching in there, so it's like if you get stumped, you do still have somewhere else to go.
Okay, I follow.
So it's kind of like, it's just kind of keeping kind of like the flow through levels quite managed, but still kind of giving some choice with kind of how you approach or like what order you tackle things in. And it tends to be kind of like the side ones will be kind of weirder than like the ones going along the core path.
Oh, that's nice. That's a really clever idea. I didn't know if it was like theming or if like you got something by going down the side roads, but just having like a couple of different puzzles and maybe, solving one, giving you the inspiration you might need to get to one of the others.
So it's like the central route will teach you core mechanics, then it's like the weirder stuff is off to the sides.
All right, so I need to. What a strange. Okay.
So how far along in development is this? Because I know it's not fully released yet. How much is left to work on?
It's quite close to the end now. I'm reluctant to give like a definite date, but it's close to the end. It'll definitely be sometime this year.
And how long have you been working on it so far? Because I know it's got a very minimalistic look to it, but that usually doesn't mean much as far as production time.
It's been a while. So it's been working on it in some form or another since September 2013.
Boy, the timing. So, this is tricky. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like a terrible like host as far as this goes. Yeah, I got it. Because I'm just super engrossed with what I'm doing. I wanna ask questions, but I can't think of it because I'm just like, I'm gonna solve this. I gotta solve that. How long have you been working on this? How long? When did this project start?
You are really engrossed.
I'm super engrossed. I'm mega engrossed. Well, I the only part I heard honestly was like the release date. I'm just like this timing with the falling in the. It was actually a joke. I'm
Nice save. No.
But yeah, it's been about 2.5 years now.
Yeah, 2.5 years. And where has most of the development time been in it? Like, is it in content creation, like creating the puzzles themselves?
I mean, to start with, a lot of it was just kind of finding the right mechanics. I was kind of like I was trying to like strike this balance between something that kind of having the time travel mechanics feel very, very natural and sort of work in a way you could imagine time travel working, and then balancing that with it actually being able to build a game around that. Like for a long time, I was working with like this totally different set of mechanics where instead of pressing space to jump back through time, you would press space to reverse the flow of time around you. So it's kind of so if you know the game VVV, where you press space to flip gravity, where you'd press space to flip flow of time. And it was very like kind of like some very, very cool puzzles came out of that, but it turned out something like I couldn't build a full game out of. So kind of like a lot of time has been spent on stuff like that, kind of figuring out kind of what is and is not going to work. And earlier versions of the game, you could jump through time as many times as you wanted. you could switch between like the different time clones of yourself as much as you wanted, but then it kind of gave you too much power, and it was impossible to build any puzzles out of that you couldn't just solve very, very easily. So kind of like, yeah, so there's been a lot of time just kind of trying different prototypes and then abandoning them. And then since then, it's more been, now I've got mechanics nailed down, it's kind of just been puzzles and lots of polish.
As far as like the complexity of the puzzles goes, for like later on, do you deal with instances of having like multiple timelines of yourself?
Yeah, so it's kind of, it's restricted, so you'll only be able to jump twice, but then I kind of found beyond that it doesn't actually add anything to puzzles.
Right.
But it still kind of gets it does kind of get very challenging just with that, just with kind of having to manage like two other versions of yourself.
I have to give like due compliments just to like the pacing of how this works so far. Just like this puzzle right here, just using this combination of like things that you've already learned and creating this like, okay, I have to like push myself with myself. So I really like how this is kind of like coming together and pacing well. So you mentioned earlier how like your initial puzzles were actually like really ramped up in difficulty, and watching all the playtesting and everything like that. I was trying to take this into a question, but I don't know how. I'll be honest. I'm impressed with it so far. I'm having.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
it's kind of been like a hard exercise, like trying to get myself kind of more into the head of someone playing it for the first time, because like my head's been in this kind of like very weird time travel puzzle space for 2.5 years now. So then trying to kind of put myself in the shoes of someone who hasn't played it before, who kind of like doesn't know what I've been thinking about, trying to get it's kind of been it's been tricky. And it's kind of like very hard to forget that kind of not everyone's coming into this with practice of working with time travel that I'm coming into it with.
Right.
So how experienced with time travel are you? Do you have a TARDIS? I don't know.
Sadly, I do not have my own TARDIS. I mean, I'd be releasing a game in 2012 if I had my TARDIS.
That's... Oh, huh.
Best production time ever. I like it.
Luckily, I gave myself a lot.
And it's just 100% solo project. Somebody was asking in chat earlier
Yes.
if it was just you.
So the other guy kind of working on the game is a composer called Tim Scheel. So he did the soundtrack to Duet, an iOS game, and he did the soundtrack to the documentary Game Loading: Rise of the Indies. And I met him at PAX East last year, and he came up to me and was like, "Hey, I want to make music for your game." And I kind of listened to a few bits and pieces of stuff before. I was like, "Oh, yes, I will have you on my game. Thank you very much." And I'm not sure kind of how much of a soundtrack you can hear there, but I'm really, really kind of happy with how the soundtrack's coming along now. It's kind of this, we're kind of approaching it in a way so the soundtrack reacts to what you're doing in games. So as you kind of, the complexity of the timelines build up, and like so the complexity of the music builds up.
It's definitely like, it's not distracting. It's got a nice ambient feel, but I definitely like feel it there. And I can definitely see what that means, because it's definitely become like more prevalent as we've proceeded through the levels. So you said you're looking at a release this year. How many puzzles are in the game currently, and how many are you looking to have by the time you release?
So it's around 50. It probably won't be much more than that. It'll probably be kind of I'll be kind of like adding the kind of like the odd puzzle kind of here and there to like smooth over the difficulty spikes, but it kind of won't be kind of far off 50.
Okay, that's an interesting idea. I think about game design frequently. Like, it's something that, just because of how, I don't know, involved with the industry I've become as a broadcaster, it's something that like I like to focus on. But puzzle games don't typically get a lot of my attention from a game design standpoint, and it's weird to think about. So yeah, the idea of like inserting puzzles to smooth out the difficulty curve, that's just a neat concept in general to me. As far as that goes, I mean, do you have any like really odd rampings right now that you can think of, like later on down the line, it just gets like, oh, this area I still have to work something out for? Or...
Yes, I'm trying to think. I can't. It's kind of think that's impossible to describe until you actually see those levels, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of more mechanics that come in later, but then they kind of like jump straight to kind of doing some weird stuff with it.
So far, like again, I have to go back to complimenting like how much this just drives me to think like I'm moving multiple pieces without moving multiple pieces. Is very impressive. I know we keep talking about like how long you've spent on the development cycle. How long do you feel it did take you to get this like really nice struck balance between how things flow?
I think it took like, I'm just trying to think. I think I didn't have like a good intro set of puzzles until like about a year into development.
Huh. Oh, but I did give myself a way down. I'm good. Nice. That is so about a year into development before you had like a reasonable set of like intro puzzles.
Yeah.
Which have I played the first one you've designed yet? Have we come across that
I'm just
yet?
trying to think like which was the first one I designed. I think like the first one I designed is probably kind of long since been chucked out.
Just kind of like prototype. Did any of like your initial like first puzzles stay within the game, or they get refined beyond recognition?
I mean, some of the ones you've played through now have actually been in the game for a while now. Actually, this one, there was like a version of this one on the poster of the first kind of big event I showed it at, the Left Field Collection at EGX in 2014, I think. So yeah, this is kind of like one of the earliest ones, but this is like a refined version of this now.
All right. Let's. Jeez. How even?
This is a good one when you get it.
This is by and far like the most complex thing yet. Wow. I don't. Huh. This is. I like it. It's almost got like this Escher kind of like stylings to it with the way the isometrics are set up too. It's like I'm not sure if like things are connecting where they're supposed to, which is not a bad thing inherently. It's but I like that there's like clear indications. Like I can clearly drop here, so like those lips make it very clear despite there being a space. So I do.
I mean, something I get asked a lot is if I kind of want to go down the route of doing perspective puzzles where it's kind of more Fez-like, and I feel like as soon as I did something like that, I've instantly lost the player's trust. And unless I'm actually specifically making a game about isometric perspective puzzles, then it's just like a route I shouldn't go down at all.
All right, and now I want to. Holy crap. Did I give myself enough time is the question. This is something. This is something. Right. Go. No, I didn't give myself enough time. I'm moving too fast. Old me is going too fast. Old me, stop. Old me, don't do it. It's a trap. Old me, no. Hang on, old me. Gotcha. There we go.
It is kind of neat that in a lot of ways you're kind of contending with your past self.
That is insane. Like just beyond like thinking within like two time frames, just like did I do enough for myself? Like seeing this very real impact of your own actions in real time is just staggering.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've really liked about the feedback I've had to this game is like people saying it does kind of like force them to think in a very, very different way, which is sort of what I'm going for, and I'm like really happy about.
All right, what do we got? All right, so I'm gonna. Oh wow, you're wearing me out with these. You are wearing me out with these. This is too early for me. This is when I'm like waking up, so I'm kind of like mush right now. So you've gone to some. I'm actually surprised I haven't run into you at any of the shows. How many conventions have you taken this to, and what kind of response have you gotten from it?
So I think I've done like 3 in the UK and then just one out in the US, and I've been really happy with the response. Yeah, because it's not obvious that a puzzle game is going to work in a convention setting because there's like a lot of noise, a lot of distraction. But I've been really happy with how well it's gone down, and it's kind of just always very flattering when people are spending a lot of time with my game when there's kind of so much other stuff around, and I've been very flattered by just kind of like how much dedication some people are showing with some of the puzzles, like watching someone kind of try a puzzle for like half an hour and still not be walking away, or kind of like seeing people like walk away from it and then they'll come back half an hour later with like their solutions that have been working out on pen and paper, which I found incredible.
Pen and paper, really? I don't.
Yeah.
Did I not? Okay.
Yeah, they kind of like drawing out diagrams of the level and like sat down like drawing out the different paths they thought they needed to try. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Did you save those papers? I would have like.
I don't have them. No.
Oh, that's too bad. I don't know. I think it's just something that happens when you are experiencing people get like really involved in your game. But there's like this kind of like, oh, I have to remember this. I need to burn this in my mind. It's like future dev fuel kind of to me. At least.
Yeah.
Have you how do you deal with people when they came up and played it and they just like kind of just brushed it off or didn't like it?
I mean, I'm okay with that. I kind of accept my game isn't going to be for everyone, and if you're not a puzzle fan, then I'm okay with that.
That's a very mature way of dealing with it. I like it. It's good.
I'm really curious just in like the how you go about designing these. Like, what do you start from your solution and work backwards, or how do you incorporate time into puzzle design?
I mean, a lot of time will be I will have a specific idea, like kind of the one you played just now, where you have to kind of push the barrel, but then you have to steal it from your past self. So that might be a core idea. I start building a puzzle around you doing that, and then I'll play test it for a bit, and it will generally turn out actually I've accidentally like put like 2 or 3 different things in this one puzzle. There's the core thing I wanted to get in there, and then there's like these other distractions I hadn't noticed I was putting in the level. So it might be just I strip those out completely, or it might be like then they turn into their own puzzle. So it's kind of just been about coming up with these things I want to show, and then building a first version of a puzzle that shows it, and then refining it from there. And kind of like the process of, and like as the game goes on, it's more, I've kind of just built the puzzle around demonstrating like the different rules that are governing how time travel works in the game. So it's like by the end of it, you should have like a complete picture of kind of what's going on in the background about kind of what like all the time travel rules are. Like it kind of gets far more complicated when it gets to the point where there's other objects you can take back in time with you, and kind of what happens with those and what you need to do with those to not create paradoxes. And the puzzle's kind of built around kind of like showing the different consequences of having these other objects that you can take back in time with you.
What good does that do me?
LG is like so honed in on trying to solve these.
This
puzzles.
one is like
He can't help
I
himself.
promise it's possible.
It's have you been trying to get this game seen a lot on live streams and things like that? Have you been reaching out to streamers with this game?
I've been doing a bit of that. I've kind of not been doing as much as I should be. I've kind of just been focusing on making the game.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm just curious because I know when I play.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, you cut out there. I didn't hear like your last 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
No, I feel 100 times stupider when I'm playing something on live stream. I'm just curious if like you've felt like some resistance from streamers to play a puzzle game or not, because I know that a lot of people try to avoid them because it makes them feel dumb?
I don't know. I'm not really sure how I'd tell. I know I've had like someone playing the game for the first time on stage, and I think that was kind of like very tricky for them. And they did like a remarkable job under the circumstances of actually kind of getting through the game while kind of having so many people watching them.
Yeah.
But there's also the problem with this, like it's a game where it kind of mucks up the timing if you stop to talk while you're playing, because it will kind of record the time that you spent talking and not playing, and then you kind of get these weird pauses that are quite confusing when you're kind of watching your past self in the game. Because like your past cube will be pausing while you were talking.
You're really just you're banking time for the future to talk again.
Yeah.
No, honestly, like speaking as I've been broadcasting for over 3 years now, so like this is the kind of game where, like, honestly, like in a situation like this, I'm a prideful kind of fellow. I'm very reluctant to get people involved, but like, I guess the way your game is set up, like a solution's really hard to just straight up say, this is how you solve the puzzle. Like you'd have to have a really in-depth, ridiculous guide to do. So people's contributions would be more of like the idea of ideas themselves. So I feel like out of castable puzzle games, like this one would actually like sit pretty high, because like right now I'm just like, what am I not seeing so well? Like obviously I kind of have an idea of what I'm supposed to do now. It's just like kind of putting it into action, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying as far as possible. Like, there is like puzzles kind of like have a eureka moment, and like once you've had that, then it's easy, and it's not kind of. I'm trying for us to not be a game where you're just wrestling with trying to put the solution in action. Once you've kind of figured out the solution, then putting it into action should be easy.
Oh boy. All right. So I need to. What do I need to do?
Do you need a hint?
Do I need a hint? I need to push this, and I need to put myself over there. I'm sending my past self up there to push that block, because I thought that was gonna make a bridge for me, but that's not actually the case. What I need to do is make it so that I can get back to myself. Oh. Right, but I can't get back up. Oh, jeez. What? Ah!
But how could you get back up?
By sending my past self up there to make the bridge around here, and oh my god. This is so the release is going to come with aspirin, right?
Maybe it should.
That's it seems like the kind of thing that's there. Oh my god. This is I imagine that you've got a dedicated set of like playtesters for this too. So like when you come up with a new puzzle, people aren't, they're not mad at you. You have like really patient people.
Yeah. So I've got a mailing list. I like on my Twitter feed. I've got a link at the top where people can like sign up to playtest, and yeah, I've kind of be sending out Steam keys kind of every few weeks to like a different bunch of people to see how well they've got through the game.
Okay, so I need to. This is honestly, this is the worst game to try and like have a conversation with the dev over. You were talking about like feeling stupid. I'm trying to like cast to some people, play this, ask questions. I'm glad you're here, Alex. Holy crap! Oh.
Well, I'm glad you're here, LG, because otherwise it'd be just me trying to do it for like how many hours straight. I've done that before. It doesn't work well.
Oh,
so
God,
thank you for being my victim, LG.
This just hurt. I already screwed up. I just sat on top of the block and just like thought about what I needed to do. You were talking earlier with like the timing. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna sit for a second. So this pushes me up there. And then I need to hop off and push that one off there, and then somehow get back around to the block that's getting pushed, and I don't know.
I think you had it. You were closer before when you started off pushing the barrel to the right, but then there was like an extra step you needed to do.
Oh, those are barrels? I've just been thinking of them as like little like pegs, or I guess barrels would make sense, wouldn't it? Oh God, what have I done? All right, let's follow this for a second. Let me see what my actual cause and effect is in this. So that sets up this to come back around this way. so that I can get back around and back up, but then I don't have a way over. Unless I bring this back with me now. But then I'd have to be able to push myself back over.
So what is this actually programmed in?
So I'm using Unity, so it's C#, but it's like I'm ignoring a lot of Unity stuff because a lot of Unity stuff just doesn't apply that well to my game. So for me, Unity is just like a nice way of being able to write something once and have it kind of run on pretty much everything.
No, that sounds like a good solution. It's interesting. Yeah, Unity does a lot for you, and when you don't want it to do that much, I imagine it's a little more challenging.
Like using the Unity animation system or the Unity physics system just to kind of like move some blocks around doesn't really make sense for me. And it does mean I kind of have full control of everything that happens. And where you've got like the system of kind of like it replaying stuff that has happened before, I kind of need to keep everything under my control so there's nothing weird happening in the background that might kind of throw stuff off and have stuff not replaying quite correctly.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting how like Unity and Unreal and things like this, these game engines have really opened up create games. But what a lot of people don't really think about is how even though there's like all this ease of access inside of it, it does remove some control like automatically that you then have to kind of fight to get back if you want it. It's interesting. Sorry guys, game dev talk. I'll stop. All that boring stuff.
Those are questions I can't ask because I have no idea.
Did anyone in chat have questions? I realize we probably should be telling people in chat that they can ask questions as well. They don't have to just be weird game dev questions and Elegy like making random noises as he plays. You actually seem to be handling this puzzle fairly well.
I just have no idea. I'm experimenting right now, which is fine. Like this is
because it's like I'm not sure if I remember the correct solution off the top of my head.
Oh, that's a great sign. All right. How quickly can you get through your own game? There we go.
I think last time it was a couple of hours.
I think
it's like an hour and a half to a couple of hours.
Okay, so I've got the right idea now, but I forgot a set of steps, I think. But I'm gonna see this through. So then I would put that there, give myself enough time to get back around, drop off, push the barrel, and push myself over. I've got it. Thank God, I finally made it.
Elegy, master of time travel.
I don't know about all that wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey
stuff.
Yeah. Oh God, Tenant save us all. Brian,
okay. Are you based in England?
Yeah, I'm in London.
Aha! So that solidifies our time travel theory.
I am secretly the next Doctor. Yes.
You heard it here first, folks. Oh jeez. I honestly wish I had questions, but this is just stunningly well put together. You've got an excellent game. 2, 4. Back on here. Tick 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 tick. Tick 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 tick. Oh man. So you said later on you're keeping track of 2 versions of yourself too. At this point I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that's kind of where it gets really hard for me as well. One of the hardest things has been like when I'm designing puzzles. One of the hardest things is first of all, have I made something that's actually possible, and then trying to figure out like, is there some easy solution I've missed here? And when it's just like one version of yourself to keep track of, I can kind of usually figure that out okay. But when it's like there's multiple versions of yourself to think about, lots of them is like, I'll put a puzzle together and I think there's no easy solutions I've missed, but I'm just gonna like throw it to some playtesters because I'm not gonna see it as well as they will because like my brain's fried by my own puzzle at that point.
Yeah. I gave myself too much time. I'm afraid to mess with the fast forward key. I'm just gonna let this play out. We're gonna let the. All right, now you come back. Come on back. Hop on down. I like this direct correlation and being able to like yell at myself too. All right. Now, did I give myself enough time to jump off and onto the platform before it starts to move? I think I did. Ready? Go, go, go. Hop off. Hop off. Good. No! I gotta be like instant as soon as you start to roll. Wait, can I just... Hey, got it! Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Sorry. Eureka, as they say. Oh, wow. Oh, God. You have melted my brain. You have, it's oozing out of my ears right
that's
now.
what I'm going for.
So I like that it was Terminator specifically too. It's like Terminator time travel, which is hardly the Rolls Royce of time travel. Let's be real about that. Wow. Oh wow. So this is going to be an oddly complex question. Was there a specific like time travel reference that you maybe used specifically for one puzzle, like a I don't know, Back to the Future, or as you were saying with Terminator, like, oh, in this, like, make it symbolic. Well, in this movie, this happens, so if I turned that into a puzzle, it would be this.
I just don't remember the name of the movie now. Yeah. So there's this one novel that sort of I sort of used for one of the mechanics, The Time Traveler's Wife.
Okay.
And in that there's this notepad that contains like some information that only kind of gets known because someone has like a future version of that notepad, and then it kind of gets copied back. And I really like this idea of information that only exists because someone's kind of taken it back in time, and then kind of gets sent back in time again for the information to exist in the first place.
Here.
So it's like there's no kind of particular origin point for this. It's just kind of stuff that kind of comes out of this magical time loop. And one of the mechanics later is inspired by that.
That's really cool. That's what
It's not working. Sorry.
have you always utilized the isometric view, or was this kind of like how you wanted things to be from the beginning, or has it gone through a couple different iterations of what's the best way to represent these types of puzzles?
I did try top down for a while, but I kind of couldn't get it working with an art style that I like. So kind of it was fairly quickly that I went to isometric and started working with that. And it has given me a lot of headaches. I feel like for my next game, I'm not going to do isometric because it's the perspective you use when you want to do puzzles around confusing people about where stuff is in 3D space. So it's kind of been a confusing about where stuff like sits in 3D space.
It fairly counterintuitive for these kinds of puzzles where you don't want your player to be confused about where stuff is.
Yeah.
You're more about trying to make sure that they can find everything and set things right up, and obviously with that last puzzle, very precise movements were required. Or not that last puzzle, but the one that I spent the entire time on. Very precise movements are required. I can appreciate top-down being fairly complex with this kind of stuff as well, so I feel like, I guess, yeah, your compromise was isometric. I like the simplicity of just like nice little geometric shapes too. Did the idea ever cross you to have something a little different, or did you always want to have like a nice minimalist style?
It started off kind of more like silver and grey and spacey looking. But then it was kind of when I settled on the idea of having different timelines represented by different colours, that's when I kind of just ended up simplifying it a lot. Like it really looked like, I guess, kind of like a bit like Volume, where you have like very simple shapes, but then have like very kind of different, when you have like very kind of obvious facets, and you kind of see how everything is split up into triangles. it kind of looked a bit like that, but then
Like, wait, Mike Bithel's volume?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're gonna talk about a man who likes shapes. I actually haven't gotten to play that one yet. I hear good things though. I really enjoyed Thomas Was Alone that he did, but huh. Oh, so what's with the swirls?
Those are levels that give you keys, and then you can like unlock progress further on.
Oh,
But that's kind of one of the things that's still work in progress. It's kind of not coming across very well right now.
so there are certain like must-do puzzles in order to like access certain things
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on. All right, all right. All right. I think we're coming up at the end of our time here, but what a game. I'm floored by it. I can't wait for a full release later on, and I'm glad as I mentioned at the start of the hour, I'm glad I only spent like a minute with it to start with, because God knows how far I would have let myself get before today. It's like, yeah, I've already beaten it. Here's all the solutions to the puzzles.
Well, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for having me on here.
It was a real treat. I don't think I have any like last bits. So you're looking to be available a little later this year. Do you already have a price point in mind?
Not yet. I've not figured it out yet.
Okay. And where can people follow you for updates about the game?
So I am Bryan Gale on Twitter, and on there you can sign up if you're interested in helping out with beta testing. There's a sign up as a pinned tweet.
So just your name, nothing fancy. Let me
Yeah.
make sure I go follow you myself. I wanna follow this. There we go.
Oh, that makes me so happy, Elegy. That's like one of my whole hopes, is like getting people super into something while they experience it. So thanks for wanting to follow the dev.
I've been trying to like keep in touch with everybody that you've had me hit up with so far, as it's just what I do. But this is I'm extremely I can't continue to say how extremely impressed I am with how this plays and how this runs. So that's very awesome. But yeah, go give Bryan a follow, everybody, over on Twitter. Bryan, thank you so much for showing us your game and giving us your time.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for showing my game.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure.